things that I do not understand.
I'm sad.
First is sloths. So sloths, these little things right here, have apparently been around since the dinosaurs.
Sloths were not alive during the time of the dinosaurs. Non-bird dinosaurs disappeared around 66 million years ago after a mass extinction event, and sloths evolved much later, something like between 30 and 35 million years ago, and the ancestors of modern sloths were also very different from the animals that we see today. Some ancient species, like the Megatherium, were enormous ground-dwelling mammals, and these giant sloths survived until relatively recent prehistoric times before eventually becoming extinct. Also, Megatherium, what a name, am I right? It means great beast in Greek. Sloths are known for being extremely slow, and this is actually a very efficient energy conservation strategy. Also, it may seem counterintuitive, but their slow movement is actually a survival mechanism that helps to protect them from predators. Because they move so little, they can blend into trees and are harder for animals like birds of prey and jaguars to notice. Which, if you ask me, is evidence that being slothful can be a good thing.
Birds, and if they're possibly the government.
The idea that birds aren't real is a fun parody of conspiracy theories where people pretend that birds have been replaced by surveillance drones. Of course, real birds have existed for millions of years and evolved from small feathered dinosaurs. Having said that, governments and researchers do sometimes use actual drones that resemble birds for purposes of surveillance or wildlife monitoring.
Rubbish bags. Do we need to pay money for them? We're literally gonna throw them away.
They make life easier. Without rubbish bags, the waste would leak and it would smell and attract pests and make bins much harder to empty and clean. The value of the rubbish bag is in the service that it provides while you use it rather than in keeping it permanently.
How easily you could just make money off making tissue.
It probably is possible to make a lot of money selling tissues, but also probably not more or less possible than with many other items.
How did someone just come up with a way to tie a tie?
The modern necktie comes from Croatian soldiers in the 1600s who wore cloth neck scarves called cravats. When these were brought to France, they became fashionable in European aristocracy, and over time people began experimenting with different ways to knot and style the fabric so it would sit neatly and stay in place, which led to many different kinds of ties.
How was counting invented? Who came up with all the rules?
Counting developed gradually as humans needed ways to track quantity, time, and trade. The earliest known counting systems come from ancient civilizations thousands of years ago. Ancient Sumerians used clay tokens to represent numbers for trade and agriculture. Ancient Egyptians used a base 10 mathematical system using hieroglyphs to represent numbers. And early Indian mathematicians helped to develop the concept of zero, which was a major breakthrough in making modern mathematics possible. Over centuries, these ideas refined and evolved to become the number system that we use today.
Flake chocolate bar. Are you seeing this? It's literally not melting.
A Cadbury flake does melt just like any other chocolate. It just behaves differently because of how it's made. Flake chocolate is designed to be extremely thin and full of tiny air pockets. This means that it's very crumbly and breaks apart easily instead of forming a smooth melt like a regular chocolate bar. Because of its structure, melting fat can't lubricate the cocoa particles to the point of flowing, which causes the chocolate to char or disintegrate instead of turning into liquid. Might even say that it's flaky. Fun questions, keep asking and never stop learning.